Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is Mo, and today we have another Lost Ark December update, and this time they're announcing that the Sorceress will be one of the starter classes in Lost Ark here in the West. I know some people might now say, yeah, duh, we knew about that because it was in the database. I get that. I totally do. But keep in mind that there is a good chunk of people who are not watching every database entry and every leak possible for this game. So this is good news for them. And I would say we are jumping immediately into the official post, reading a little bit through it. And they also have some information regarding the other classes and what is going on. So it's not just Sorceress information. But let's read this. Heroes of Arkesia. As we move towards launch, we have an exciting announcement to make about Lost Ark's starting class lineup. When Lost Ark launches in early 2022, the new Sorceress class will be available to players. The Sorceress will replace the previously included Summoner class in our starting class lineup, and the Summoner will instead come to Arkesia at a later date. We will talk about that all in a minute. The Sorceress wields powerful magic based on three elements: fire, ice, and lightning, with spells that can deal area damage. They can easily handle multiple enemies, helping them dominate the battlefield. Some of the Sorcerer's abilities include, and they now have the Sorcerer's class page up. Starting class lineup. Our version of Lost Ark will still include 15 classes at launch, with additional classes coming to the game in future updates. When working with Smilegate RPG to select the starting class lineup, we considered the following criteria to ensure that our lineup was balanced with a little something for everyone. Yeah, let's be honest here before we are jumping into this. I know that some people will be disappointed that the Summoner is leaving, but there is a pattern here I have been seeing for quite some time, and they are trying to not go full anime style with the classes. Like when you are looking at the classes which are still missing out and you see their weapons, you see their playstyle, like let's be real here. They are screaming Asia style. And there are a good bunch of people who don't really like that style. I know it's personal preference. I personally don't have a problem with it, and I'm kind of sad that some of the classes I would love to play will not be there at launch. But I can also understand that, unfortunately, Amazon has to think in broader terms for the West and tries to implement classes which are more designed for the Western market. And if I would have the decision to make, if I want to get, let's say, the Summoner or the Sorceress, well, that's a pretty simple decision for me as a publisher here in the West. It will be the Sorceress. Because when you look at her, the first thing you think is, you're standard mage. Okay, I can work with that. Where the Summoner is going a little bit in a more high fantasy Asia direction, right? Like you're burning horses and like the birds you can summon and all that. It's a little bit less over the top. Now, that doesn't mean that the Sorceress doesn't look great and that the abilities are not crazy looking. It's just, for a fantasy understanding, the Sorceress just seems more fitting. Again, personally, couldn't care less. I don't mind. I don't want that really, but I can understand why Amazon is tackling it that way. So, let's look at their criteria they're mentioning here. New and familiar. While our version of Lost Ark does not yet contain all 20 plus classes, we wanted to ensure that we include content that is new and exciting alongside some old favorites of players. Sorceress is the newest class to be added to Lost Ark. That's also true, came out in August. So we are excited to be able to share this class and the Striker class with our players. Yeah, that was also a pretty new class. I know it's the male version of an already existing female version, but it's still pretty new to the game. A wide range of playstyles. It was important to us to ensure that we include a range of classes to suit the many ways that people like to play. While there are plenty of ways to DPS, we also made sure to include multiple support classes, Paladin and Bard, so that support players could have more options at the game launch, as opposed to launching with just a single support class as the game has in other regions. True, I still don't really like the term support class too much, because they are right. It is a support class. It has support abilities. But that signifies that those classes can't do damage, that they are there to heal or to give shields or something like that. Like, their damage will be significantly lower than the other classes. And that's not true. Especially in the latest patches, support classes got buffed quite a bit in that area. So I wouldn't necessarily consider them as weak. Of course, that's not the fault of the game, nor the developers, but it paints a picture of Paladin and Bard not doing enough damage. I was like, no, they do plenty. Sure, like the pure DPS will do a little bit more damage, but most people will not really notice that. Next one, gender lock classes. From the earliest day of LostArk announcement in the West, we heard players' feedback about gender lock classes loud and clear. While not every class in the game currently has a male and female counterpart available, we wanted to be sure to include those that do early on. In the future, Smilegate RPG will be creating more counterparts for classes that are still gender locked, and we will bring these to Arkesia in time. This won't be our only update in December. Stay tuned for more news later this month. As always, thank you for your support and follow all the social channels. I assume that the next news by the end of December might be an open beta announcement, which they will probably run in January, and then LostArk might release in February. Amazon, please, 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 please keep in mind that by the end of February, we also get Elden Ring. And I know you sometimes don't give a damn about what other developers are doing. We've seen that with New World. But please consider that. Elden Ring is a huge thing. Keep that just in mind. But yeah, I assume that we are getting an open beta with the Sorceress and the newest build in January. They will inform us by the end of December, and then we will get the release at some point in February. But, I mean, this is something Smilegate has been saying since the early days, that this was one of the main reasons why they didn't release the game immediately in the West. It was because the gender lock. And they believe that a lot of people are hating that in Europe and in the US, and they would not play the game if that is the case. It's like, don't get me wrong, I know a good chunk of people who are not a fan of gender locks, definitely, but especially when it comes to fans of action RPGs, it's not unusual that classes are locked behind genders. It's not unusual at all. So it isn't too bad. But I can still understand that they want to do this, and this was one of the reasons why it took that long. What I don't understand is that they are not just copy the class and make it male or female, but that they're actually doing mirror classes. And don't get me wrong, yes, that's more quality. Absolutely. So I do understand that, because they want to create quality here. But just for having as many genderless classes out there as quickly as possible, it would have probably been much quicker just to basically copy the class and then make it male or female. But that's their decision. Still one of the reasons why it takes a little bit longer. So the Sorceress is now coming to the West. Makes sense. I'm a little bit disappointed by some of the classes we have in the game. I personally liked a good chunk of the, let's say, anime touched classes, and I definitely miss them. But cool, getting a new class, and one of the newest ones at that. That's pretty neat. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and you're on your way out, I would appreciate if you might leave a like. If you didn't like this video for whatever reason, well, there's a dislike button right next to it. And if you want to see more Lost Ark videos, reaction videos to big announcements, gaming news videos, and tips and tricks to new games in video format, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel, because it helps me out a great deal. If you ever want to catch me live, you can also do that from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 AM ET, which is 2 PM UK time and 3 PM Central European time. And you can find me on trovo.live/chaosmom. Thank you so much for watching. Hope I see you next time. Stay safe.